Hello everyone, welcome to ASL Finals. At long last, after such a long journey and arduous battles, we finally made it. This is the top of the summit, with the best of the best. And we're up against the good old Manshine City Necrozma. We fought this team in week 5, and we also happened to be their only loss, which is kind of funny. But yeah, this is definitely one of the hardest battles or matchups in general that we've had to do so far, so getting the rematch won't be easy, but I think we've cooked up a very solid team, so let's take a look. Up first this week, we've got ourselves Twilight, the Master of the Skies. As always, he is back as he is every week, and this time with a brand new set with Light Clay, Light Screen Reflect, Luster Purge, and Recover. This set is mainly here to help mitigate the damage from mons like Quackleval, Darkrai, and other offensive threats in Who's team, who are very difficult for me to check otherwise. It also simplifies some of my other setup sweepers to get more room, take less damage, and just overall help our other offensive threats stick around for as long as possible. Next up, we've got Yor. Yor is back again this week with a very strange and out of the ordinary set. Given our opponent, who has a Gliscor on his team, it's very difficult for Sneasler to do anything, and unlike last time we fought, I don't think it can get away with running Band again. So this time around, we're running a Sticky Barb set. If Darkrai for some reason doesn't come, I can lead this very easily and just trick something as Sticky Barb. Otherwise, it's just there to maybe hopefully catch it off guard, steal a Toxic Orb, and hopefully make it a bit less of a pain to deal with. They can also stop like Cresselia and stuff like that, so overall just nice to have. And we also have Sword Stance, Skunk Shot, and Throat Chop, which can be a very niche win con if we needed to. Next up, we've got Anya. This time around, Anya is donning her fashionable heavy-duty boots once again, and Moonblast, Taunt, Healing Wish, and Mystical Fire. Very similar to what we had last week, except this time we have Mystical Fire over Earth Power, if I remember correctly. This set is mainly just here to Healing Wish back like King Gambit or another one of our offensive threats when we need it. Taunt is to stop mons like Cresselia from just setting up out of control. And overall, it's just nice to have here. So yeah, definitely a very helpful glue piece for this team this week. Next up, we've got Bondman himself, donning the fashionable Silk Scarf and Stealth Rock, Roar, Terra Starstorm, and Dark Pulse. This little guy is here to just be led, get Stealth Rock up, Terra Starstorm, and Dark Pulse, basically until he goes down. And Roar is there in case we do switch out. We have an out for, again, a setup boosted Cresselia or something else of the like. Overall, just a, kind of just filler fourth move, but it's there for support just in case. Up next, we've got Sylvia Sherwood once again. The Full Metal Lady is back with donning a Chesto Berry, Rest, Bulk Up, Earthquake, and Liquidation. This set is very out of the ordinary with her jolly nature and near max speed EVs. This is designed to hopefully outspeed 8-speed Entei, because I have a Soul Read that Who is bringing no speed on any of his Pokemon, because our speed tiers are aligned weirdly, and most of his Pokemon don't really have a reason to be speedy unless they want to speed tie something, which most of the time they'd rather just have the bulk to live the hits. So my read is he's going to do that again, and this set should outspeed essentially his entire team barring Darkrai, and Sylvia should be able to essentially claim half of his team, if not more, and also just tank hits for days with the amazing bulk of 248 HP, 4 defense, and 8 speed F. Last but not least, we've got the old Lord Desmond with a delicious Lumberry, Adamant Natures, and Supreme Overlord. He's ready to claim the souls of every check who could possibly want for King Gambit. With Terra Dark, Kowtow leave a +2, even with 0 dead, can Oko and max defense Entei after rocks, which is huge. It can also, I think it does like 80% to Cresselia, which is really nice. I don't remember what other checks I thought he could have. I think it does like 80% to Gliscor. Overall, this is just a really good breaker. If I can get it set up behind Twilight's screens, and at the end game, I can just Healing Wish him back up. and Lord Desmond should be able to essentially, no matter what, be able to break his team at some point during the match. So it'll be fun to see how it goes. And that about wraps up team analysis for this week. Overall, a kind of tricky matchup, if I can be honest. I think we definitely need certain things to go our way. But I think as long as we play well and we stay true to the plan, we should be able to make it out no matter the circumstance and hopefully take the title for ourselves. Anyway, I will now proceed to the match and, well, I'll catch you guys there. This is it. Finals has officially begun. And I see who has brought Gliscor, Goldango, Entei, Cresselia, Darkrai, and Quaquaval. Now, as I see this, and Darkrai is in fact in the team sheet as expected, I still stay true to the original plan, which is just to lead Bondman, get hazards up, and just claim as many things as I possibly can. But without further ado, it is time. A long-awaited match. It's all or nothing. Everything comes down to this. Here we go. Battle finally begins, and it is Bondman staring down Quaquaval. As staying true to the plan, I click Stealth Rock, finally setting up some sort of chip damage for the rest of his team, as Quaquaval goes for a flip turn, which thanks to Terra Shell, the damage is minimized. What's that damage? Huh. It seems this Quaquaval is not choice banded, which is great news considering I was very scared of choice banded Quaquaval. Gliscor comes in, taking a little bit of Rock's chip and activating his Toxic Orb, which unfortunately for me means the Sticky Barb set we had already does not work anymore. Gliscor doubles out, which is a little surprise as Frankie the Goldango comes in and takes nothing from the incoming Starstorm. Still not wanting to switch out, I decide to stay in again and Dark Pulse as Goldango switches out into Mr. Quaquaval. It seems this was all set up to try to go for a Rapid Spin to get rid of these pesky rocks. Expecting that Rapid Spin, I go for a Terra Starstone, which does over half of the Quaquaval's health as he goes for the Rapid Spin, effectively getting rid of the Stealth Rocks currently laid on the field. Not really wanting to switch out, I stay in, risking getting close combated, but lucky for me, I just get hit by a flip turn and finally get rocks back on the field as Goldango switches in. Goldango goes for a trick, which means now Terrapagos is choice locked and Goldango is now holding a Silk Scarf, which in my ears is great because that means Swampert and Kingambit have one less thing to worry about, as I do a very minimal damage with Dark Pulse. Terrapagos switches out, not really wanting to just stay in here doing a third of Goldango's health as it clicks some other move, and Goldango goes for a recover as Twilight comes in. Goldango switches out, and Darkrai comes in as I click Reflect. I think that was supposed to be Light Screen. Surely this is an omen of what is to come, right? I withdraw Darkrai, not really wanting to take a dark move to the face, as Yor comes back in, hopefully being able to tank one. But to my surprise, it's knockoff, and that damage. This thing has physical investment. Sticky Bar comes off, which also procs on Burden, but this scares the Darkrai out as Yor clicks Gunk Shot into the incoming Gliscor, doing not even a quarter of his health. Yor switches out, and Sylvia finally hits the field as Gliscor goes for a Stealth Rock. Predicting this to either Toxic or Bulk Up in this turn, I decide, you know what, it's time. And I click Bulk Up, as lucky for me, Gliscor goes for a Protect. Expecting a Toxic here, I go for a Bulk Up, as Gliscor does in fact go for a Toxic, meaning we are now put on a timer unless we're able to cancel it out in time with a rest. Now being at +2 is huge, meaning we can now OHKO mons like Entei, Gholdengo, and so on and so forth. Gholdengo does in fact come back in as we get our third Bulk Up. This is very deadly now. Sylvia is now in prime position to try to take the game. Now to hope that we outspeed the rest of his team as planned. We go for an Earthquake and we outspeed! That means Gholdengo goes down to an Earthquake. Sylvia claims her first kill. Pokeball comes out, and not really wanting to take extra chip to allow Darkrai to come in and revenge me for easier, I decide to just go for an Earthquake. As Pokeball goes down, Sylvia claiming her second kill. Darkrai comes in finally, and I'm pretty sure given the attack investment, this is probably a roll to kill. Dark Pole comes out and we live on 24 HP. Sylvia goes for a rest and heals all the way back to full, finally getting rid of the pesky Toxic damage. And with her trusty Chesto Berry, wakes up. Darkrai goes for a Will-O-Wisp, which is not great, but honestly not a terrible position, as we go for an Earthquake. Which is surprisingly takes. If I knew this thing was gonna live 1, I would have bulked up to turn 1, given it would have died on the second turn no matter what, but it's fine. Darkrai goes for a Dark Pulse as we go for a second Earthquake, Sylvia finally taking her third kill. 6 versus 3. Cresselia comes in and it is now a setup war. Now, to spare you the details, he clicked Calm Mind 3 times, I clicked Bulk Up 3 times. Why did I click Bulk Up 3 times? I don't know either. It was probably a very dumb play, but we cope. I go for a rest, realizing that I have taken way too much damage from burn and I cannot afford to try to live a Moonblast, as Cresselia goes for a raw Terra Blast and I can't afford to stay in. So I switch Sylvia out into Lord Desmond as he takes less than 1/8 of his health from another incoming Terra Blast. Not wanting to die to a Kowtow Cleave, Cresselia switches into Entei as I go for a deadly Sword Stance. Now, in this position, I can OHKO even max defense Entei with a Terra Kowtow Cleave. So surely we go for that, right? Menu pops up. Of course, I'm going to click Terra and Kowtow Cleave. No, wait. Okay, it's fine. We should live 1 if it's not a crit. Well, that may have just cost us the game. After coping with the fact that I may have just thrown away one of my first finals games in a stupid misclick, I finally send out Twilight, figuring that if I'm gonna go for an endgame, I probably need to bring back Sylvia at full HP from a Healing Wish from Anya, as Entei switches out into Gliscor. go for a light screen. I withdraw Twilight and go into Sylvia, hoping to try and waste some sleep turns as Gliscor goes for a Toxic, to no avail given Sylvia is already asleep. I double out into Anya, trying to hopefully catch the incoming Cresselia. And lucky for me, I don't get the call right, but this position's not so bad either because who doesn't know I don't have Earth Power, meaning most likely Entei's gonna switch out, and of course he does, meaning I get a free Moonblast off into whatever comes in here, which does happen to be Cresselia, which is the double I was hoping was gonna happen the first time, but whatever, we ignore that. Go for a Moonblast, does a lot of damage. I go for a taunt, predicting Cresselia will now go for a Calm Mind of some sort. And lucky for me, Anya gets a call right, stopping Cresselia from setting up a Calm Mind. I start going for Moonblast to try to just chip this thing down as much as possible, as Cresselia goes for a Psyshock, doing not even a tenth of Anya's self. Who finally goes for the Terra, and the terrifying Terra Poison is finally revealed, taking no damage from my Moonblast, but luckily we get a special attack drop as Terra Blast comes out. This is bad, but honestly, we can make it back. We just gotta play accordingly. I just have to get this taunt, and according to the calc, I should live this next Terra Blast. I taunt it again to make sure it can't heal or Calm Mind again, as Cresselia goes for a Terra Blast, and I died. That's impossible. I calced it. The calc said I wouldn't ever die to this roll. This is a very bad position. We're still up material. We should be fine, but Sneasel can't do anything. It's fine. We go Latios to force Cresselia out as Entei comes back in. And we set up a Reflect. I go for a Recover, expecting an extreme speed because it made sense since I was gonna kill Entei that turn, but to my surprise, Entei goes for a Will-O-Wisp. Staring each other down, finally, Twilight goes for a Luster Purge, which takes out the Entei. 2 Pokemon remain. Although we may have the Pokemon advantage, this battle is far from over, as with the defensive prowess of Gliscor and Cresselia, they could wall the rest of my entire team. I go for a Luster Purge. Cresselia lives 5% as she goes for a Moonlight, healing back over half of her HP and dealing just a little bit more from leftovers. If I don't get something soon, things are gonna go south very quickly. But Twilight knew. He looked her in the eyes, went for another Luster Purge, and a critical hit. With that, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing Gliscor can do to beat the 4 remaining Pokemon in my team. Twilight roars, or attempts to, but gets interrupted by the burn damage. How rude, Burn. As Gliscor comes in one final time. And at this point, the game is over, as Gliscor cannot touch Latios because this set does not have any way of using it, as he goes for another Toxic. And finally, Twilight goes for Luster Purge, ending the long-awaited battle in a legendary 4-0 victory. We did it! At long last! My first championship after a year and a half of playing competitive draft Pokemon. It's been so long, but we did it. All it took was a 13-point Terra Kingambit, a Latios, a Sneasler, an Enamorus, a Swampert, a Monferno that came to more games than my second Terra Captain. Just overall a crazy experience. I had a lot of fun. GG's to Who again. It was a really tough match. I think I struggled a lot and probably messed up in a lot of parts, but honestly I think I played well for, you know, the pressure of it being a finals game. I'm glad the sets worked out. I was really nervous that Swampert wouldn't outspeed something, or it would get tricked, or I would die to something, but hey, it all worked out. So really happy it did. And to you, the viewer, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for keeping along with the series. If you have, this is the first episode you've watched of this, well, you can now go check out the rest, knowing how this ends. It's been a pleasure playing on this Wi-Fi League. All my opponents have been great people. Made a lot of good friends here. And, well, yeah. In the near future, I plan to edit the tier list at some point. Again, with the potato computer. We'll see how long that takes me. Had to do this one on the school computer again, but hey, might also do that for the tier list, we'll see. And since I'm getting my iPad fixed soon, I will also be editing that big project I mentioned in the last video, and that should be out in like probably a month, depends on how long it takes me to edit. But yeah, I'll catch you guys then, and thanks again so much for watching. Really excited that I was able to pull off the win for my first championship win, my first Wi-Fi win in general. Yeah, thanks again, and I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.